Turns out camera angles are a lot harder than I thought. Stop slipping. Well, hello there once more. We are 10 minutes away from Lac Nominingwe, Lac Nominang, and now we're going to spend 3 nights in the countryside at Lac Nominang. I'm starting to go a little bit crazy with tiredness. I think I need a snack and a beer and to look out on the wonderful, beautiful scenery of Canada. So, we found an absolute gem. It's just beautiful. Oh, my swimming costume has just fallen down. This chalet has a waterfront, which is about 2.5 hours away from Montreal. And we drove yesterday. And we've been taking it easy because I've still got a bit of a cold. Florian's testing out the lake for potential sports later. And I'm enjoying this very lovely rocking chair. And even though we're currently in Quebec, this place somehow gives me a feel of Anne of Green Gables, which is originally set in Prince Edward Island in Nova Scotia. But somehow, maybe it's the countryside, maybe it's the beautiful nature, but I feel her spirit somewhere here. I absolutely adore coming to the countryside and listening to the birds, and there were maybe about 5 or 6 bird calls this morning and I didn't recognize any of them, which was fantastic. It was magical. I've known about dill pickle chips or crisps for a while now, and I've been thinking about them for the last 3 hours, and I think at that point you're meant to give in to your cravings. Oh no. Here comes my new addiction. Help. What am I meant to do now? They're phenomenal.
Are they?
They're like a mixture of Monster Munch pickled onion flavour with a sprinkling of dill and a freshness that's not gonna mean you'll never be kissed for the rest of the day. They are so darn good. Right. So here we are. Today is significantly calmer. We had a beautiful still evening, so I'm going to show the neighbours that they are wasting sitting outside and watching me because I will not be doing anything impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Ottawa, you charmed the pants off me. I fell in love with this city the moment Florian and I got out of the car. We walked around the first evening we arrived, and the light was beautiful and the architecture, and we were just consistently going, wow, wow, look at that. It's a sleepy city, which I feel is why people forget about it a lot, but the people are so genuine and so welcoming and kind. The food was some of the best I had on that holiday, and the architecture is actually decently similar to Edinburgh, so it was weird. I felt as if I'd come home somehow. There's something about Ottawa that just invites you to unwind, and after all that unctuous food, we needed some nutrients. And this kale salad, I didn't know kale salads could make you feel things, but it was fantastic, and I'm still trying to recreate it at home. The rest of the afternoon was a sleepy one, but Florin and I are still trying to stay members of the Watch Less Netflix, Play More Board Games Club, so we were delighted to find this haven with thousands of games. Labyrinth was one of our favourites, and we actually just bought a copy to enjoy at home. This was the best way of decelerating that evening, and we slept like logs afterwards.
What do you think?
It's a damn good cappuccino, and I think compared with the prices that we experienced in Vienna, very reasonably priced. Mine was $4.70. Croissant is in no way, shape or form a croissant, but as a breaded pastry, buttery piece of glory, it's hitting the spot.
So we're dancing around this, I thought it's Tim Horton, it's actually Tim Horton. It's Tim Horton chain, which seems to be a big thing in Canada, and it always eluded us somehow, and maybe we really missed out during the whole trip, you know, we should have gone every morning to Tim Horton.
Yeah. I have It's the best cameraman in the world. I love him. Oh, you again! I got stressed. Their menu is just 4 different TV boards, and all of them change every 3 seconds. You cannot read anything, but it doesn't matter. I got something with ice and peach and lemonade, and we'll see how it tastes.
Sweet?
It's great. I mean, you can taste it's like concentrated syrup that's been mixed with water and ice. It's going to keep me going, the sugar, the massive amount of sugar. Do you know what? I wanted a cold drink, I have one, but I wouldn't necessarily go back.
No?
No. Everything about this brunch should have been perfection because the location was idyllic, but it was kind of lackluster. My honourable mention, though, goes to the Canadian sister drink of the Bloody Mary, the Caesar, which was so spicy, blew my head off, but I loved it. The stars of the show, though, that afternoon were the Canadian geese at Hogshead Rideau River. Florin did some pump foiling, I read my book in their company, and their babies were even there. And that evening we went to Northern Navy, which I filmed nothing of, this North Italian restaurant for our date night. It was terrific. Highly recommend. Gorgeous North Italian food and that whipped butter. Oh, it made me feel things. We are back in Montreal for the last chapter of our trip to Canada. There are some bittersweet feelings. I'm very much looking forward to going back home. Not really the action of going back home, but I know after a couple of days of being in our flat in Vienna, I'm going to be very happy to be there. Florin's going to get his hair cut at some point at a really, really cool hairdresser that we came across.
I really need it.
Yeah, you really need. But first, I think we're going to get a coffee because I'm feeling quite bouncy, but I think I might be the only one. Yeah. Welcome back to Montreal. Here we go. So it's just you and me this afternoon, folks. Florin's having a bit of a rest because he felt really tired, but I've still got a bit of energy, so I'm gonna head towards Mile End. I've been there before when we were here last. Just making sure we don't get run over, that'd be an idea. But I'd like to visit it again and maybe this time get a bagel. Crusty exterior, fluffy inside. I just need a bit of butter.
Yeah.
Because it is on the dry side.
It is a little bit.
A little bit on the dry side, but I'm a happy bunny. Oh, good Lord. I don't think I needed any more beer after that, and thankfully I don't think I drank any more. Next up was Tony's Pizza, the best option to sober me up, I think.
In case it's not apparently obvious, I've had way too much beer.
Yes, babe, I think everyone knows that by now. This pizza was terrific. Normally pepperoni pizza slaps, but the veggie was the best, and the basil one that Florian got was so hot and spicy.
Quite innocent, but it looks so innocent, but it really isn't.
Nursing my surprisingly pain-free head the next morning was not a chore, as we had our best coffee of the trip. Diff was something different. Boo! The conversation between us that morning, I remember, was also just beautiful and very meaningful. After our coffees and scones, which were also 10 out of 10, we shimmied on over to Saint Laurent Boulevard for Florian's haircut, and I had a little peruse at some edgy and exciting vintage shops.
Ooh, what do we have here?
I'm Dennett.
Ooh. Oh, I like it. I really like
Did
it.
a really good job.
Yeah.
So here I am with the world's best haircut. So we have gone to one of the probably top rated places in Saint Laurent, and that is Schwarz's Deli. And we both got a smoked meat sandwich, and I am very excited. Final feelings are, it's not something I would ever crave. It was a bit too oily for me. I do think the meat was good quality and well cooked. It was just a lot of grease, and it doesn't leave you with a great feeling eating something that greasy. My feeling is that was, to me, kind of a bit meh. So Schwarz's Deli, not a hit. But how could I complain when generally our culinary experience had been smashing? The next morning we rose with gusto for our last milk visit before flying back home that evening. By some miracle, after feeling utterly jealous by Florian's gorgeous locks, I'd managed to bag myself a last-minute appointment at Danny's unisex salon, but not before I'd had the world's most epic sandwich. The sauce, the onions, all together, the crispy baguette. It's making me jiggle. It's making me jiggle. What a way to round off our holiday. 6 months ago, I would never have had the guts to just get my hair cut randomly 5 hours before our flight. And again, Lemonade laughs at me because it was so worth it. It was one of the warmest, loveliest interactions I'd had in Canada, and reminded me how blessed I am to have these opportunities before me, and why would I ever let everyday fear stop me from living such a beautiful life?